my friends, Dave Parker, Scale Model Customs, in the Scale Model Customs garage. Just a quick update on the 40 Ford that I've been working on. Making massive progress, but I thought I'd share a couple tips if it's turning into quite an adventure. Thought I'd share a couple tips in case anyone out there decides they want to modify your 40 Ford with the Foos kit. Just wanted to share what I've run into so far. So let's just get right into it, shall we? So the biggest issue was, yes, the wheels do line up pretty well in terms of forward and backwards, right? I mean, they line up pretty well in the body, but they're quite a bit wider. So I did have to cut the axle housing down a little bit. I think like 3 millimeters on each side, which jacked up my forelink and also my shock towers. So I'm having to figure out what I'm going to do with the shocks. I still haven't figured that out yet. I'm currently got a little more work to do on the forelink. The forelink actually conveniently fits where the exhaust pipes come out of on the Foos kit. So that's actually a pretty decent mounting point. It's a little bit of an angle right now. I got to remove a little more material, make it fit straight on. You can see it's kind of popping up. And then also I had to narrow the front too. So the front was, because I really wanted to use these wheels. These wheels just look super cool on this 40. So I could have gone with a skinnier wheel and it would have fit without doing a whole lot of modification, but I decided to just go ahead and narrow the rear end and narrow the front. It's falling apart there. So on the front, on the Foos kit, there's control arms that are basically molded into the frame. So I basically had to cut them down almost to nothing and reattach them to the frame. And then there's a bottom piece that fits on here for the lower control arms, which I also had to cut and fit. So put that right there. So obviously I'm taking some liberties in terms of geometry, but it actually works out pretty good. Let's see if I can just one more time. You get the idea. Once the wheel's in there, here's the front wheel. Once the wheel's in there, you still got the control arm action going on, and it's kind of tucked in there where I had to trim it off. This tucks it inside the wheel well really well. In the front, sits nice and low, and in the back, these are staggered wheels. The back basically just fills the wheel well. It's not really lowered in the rear much, but it's got a really nice stance. Oh my gosh, it looks horrible. What's going on? There we go. So at this point, I'm almost done cutting and trimming and sanding. We'll get the forelink going. When I trimmed the shock towers off, I was trying to save them so I could reattach them somewhere, and I lost one. Dang it! So I don't know what I'm going to do about the shocks yet at this point. I may have to fab something up. I did test. So basically, I'm getting ready to attach the rear end in there, and I wanted to make sure that the drive shaft angle was correct and all that kind of stuff. That's why it's mocked up like it is. Once I get all that in there, I'll go ahead and prime and paint the engine, chassis, and calipers, and fit the wheels, finish the engine, get all that done. I can get back onto the body work, which when I get bored I start sanding. So I've got probably like maybe 50-60% done with the sanding, and I can move on to priming. I did want to thank another tip for you if you didn't catch the Lazy Eye Modeler. He's doing a couple of 40 Fords also, and he mentioned Drag City Resins has a hood that fits really well on this kit, and I reached out to him and he had one left. So I've got a resin hood coming to replace the wonky kit hood. So that'll be more sanding because I've already committed to removing all the trim. So I'll have to sand off all the trim on the resin hood when it shows up. And then once I got the engine mocked in today, I realized that the trans tunnel, it hits the transmission tunnel. So not putting the Dremel away yet. Time for some more cutting and fabricating. Great. That's fine. So anyway, I wanted to pass those tips along. I really like when people give tips, and if I could toss a tip out there for anyone venturing into this kit bash setup, I wanted to show you what I did. Still have no idea what I'm going to do for a radiator. It's an absolute mess in here. You know, my ADD is going off the charts. I usually like a neater workspace, but it's just, oh, here's the radiator right here. I'm thinking I'm gonna cut this down and make it fit, because I really like the fans. But then again, if I cut it down, I'm gonna have a half a fan on there. So I don't know. I don't know yet. And then also, still trying to figure out what to do with the door. I mean, I've never actually created a hinge door. I know. Thinking about seeing if I could do that. This thing just keeps getting more and more complicated, which means more and more likely I'm going to miss the deadline. So I'm tempted to either not put the door on or glue the door in. But I'll have to watch some videos on doing door hinges. It doesn't look that hard, so maybe I'll just create some sort of funky door hinge. Another thing I just wanted to point out, when I first started going down, God, I fell into oblivion. When I first started going down this road, I originally was going to have the frame supported by the where the bumper mounts come through, and then as I got along I realized I didn't want to do that, because it actually rests in there sort of on this ridge here to get me the maximum lowest height possible on the front. So I actually cut that frame down there, and then also had to cut the frame back here because it hung over and the body didn't fit. I did remove all the little frame supports that came with the Foos kit that were along here. This is where the 4-link originally attached. Actually makes a nice attachment point for when I do permanently install this frame into the body, which I think I'm going to have to, because it kind of flops around in here. What else can I tell you? So anyway, the frame's kind of cleaned up now, pretty much ready to go. Oh, and with this mount point, you know, I actually do want to do a front bumper, so I'm not going to worry about filling in those slots there. I'm going to mount the I already put it away. I'm going to mount the original bumper mounts from the AMT kit in here somehow, and mount the front bumper on there, and then also the rear bumper. Spent a crap load of time removing those pin marks in there. So I got a little one in there, it looks like, and a lot of sanding. But I think most of the difficult sanding is done. A little more on the body I still need to do. But now that I need to open up that transmission tunnel, it's back to cutting and something. I don't know. I'll have to make maybe I'll use a beer can for a tunnel or something. We're not there yet. So we might make it. We might make it by January 15th. I don't know. And I got my paint ordered, so I got some Scale Finishes paint. Ever seen the Mustang Need for Green Mustang Bright Green? Yeah, that's what this is going to be. So there it is. I revealed my color. So hopefully Jameson comes through soon so I can get color on here and sometime. I know it's a busy season for him, but it's on its way. And the resin hood's on its way. It's going to be close, my friends. All right, I'm running along. 8 minutes. Oh my gosh. All right, my friends, have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. Dave Parker, Scale Model Customs in the Scale Model Customs Garage. 40 Ford Group Build. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.